निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सहपन गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच चक्र चिन्ह अरबन जात अरबाल जे रूप रंग अरेक भेग कहू कह न सकत के अचाल मूर्त अनुभव प्रकाश अमितोज कहिजा कोट इंद्र इंद्राण साहे साहान गनिजा त्रिभुवन महीप सुर नर असुर नेत नेत मान त्रिन कहत त्वर सर्वनाम कथा कवन कर्म नाम वर्णत सुनत ज्ञान ध्यान किछ कर्म ना जाना सार ना जाना तेरी सब ते बड़ा सतगुर नानक जिन कद राखी मेरी देह सिवा परमो एह शुभ कर्मन ते कबहु न डरो हर्षों जग जाय डरो निश्चय करे अपनी जीत करो हर्षिक हो अपने ही मन को इहलाल चहो बनता उचरा जब आग की आग नितान बने अतही रण में तब जूझ मरो हे रब हे सस हे करणानित मेरी पै बिनती सुन लीजा और न मांगत हाँ तुमते कछ चाहत हो जित मैं सोई कीजा शास्त्र सौ अतही रण भीतर जूझ मरा तो साच पतीजा शांत सहाय सदा जगमाए कृपा कर श्याम एह बर दीजा राजान राज पानान पान देवान देव हुक्मा महान चवर शतर तख्त दे मालिक सतगुरु साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी साजी निवाजी गुरु गुरु खालसा साध संगत जीओ कथा विचार करन तो पहला दास हाथ बन के सतगुरु श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी करो ते समूह साध संगत जी करो माफी मांगता हाँ क्योंकि जो अज का विचार है खास करके नौजवानों लिए है ते अंग्रेजी विच होगी सो मैं सतगुरु श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी समूह साध संगत जी करो माफी मांगता हाँ. Before starting today's katha vichar on the topic of Hola Mahalla, I have to ask for forgiveness from the Sadh Sangat and from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, because today's katha, today's vichar, today's discussion will be primarily for the youth and in English. We often go home after coming to the Gurdwara side and our parents say to us, what we learned? Why were you playing on your phone, or why were you hanging around outside of the darbar? Why were you sitting in the langar hall? Why weren't you listening? And we often say to our parents that I couldn't understand what they were saying. I couldn't understand what the Jnani was saying. I couldn't understand what the Baba was saying. He was talking in a different language, talking in Punjabi. I can't really understand it. But Satsangati, maaf karna, what excuse will we have today if we are standing outside of the bar, if we are sitting in the langar hall, or if we are playing on our phones? What excuse have we got today? Because the person that is on the stage today is actually speaking in a language that you can understand. So I beg, I put my hands together and I beg all my brothers and all my sisters that are standing outside, are in the langar hall, if you can hear my voice, I beg that you please come into Guru Sahib's Darbar, that you please give me your ears just for a very short amount of time, give me your mind for a very short amount of time, and we can try to explore the importance of Hola Mahalla, this festival that is due to occur in a very short amount of time. In the next few days we will be celebrating Hola Mahalla. If we can try and come together and try to understand why we celebrate this main and amazing festival, then hopefully Guru Sahib will do kirpa and will allow us to understand and implement the importance into our own lives. So before starting, I'd like us to put our hands together, place your hand metaphorically upon my head, give me the blessings so that I may embark on this katha, so that I may start this katha. Satsang ki das de sir pe mere par hath rakhna, devo asis. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj Ji pavan pavitra bakshi hui fateh di saanj paiye. Gaj bhai ke bilal ji, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. When we think about festivals, and we look at our own itihas, and we look at the Sikh Panth. The Sikh Panth has only been going around for a very short amount of time. So Vaisakhi or Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab or any other sort of festivals that we might sort of celebrate, these are relatively new in comparison to other festivals and other faiths and other cultures. Now before I start, I need to try and take you on a journey. And this journey will be a sort of a windy journey, it will be a windy road. I ask you to try and bear with me, because it will be a long journey and it will be a bit of a winding journey, but we will hopefully get there together. And before we start to look at Hola Mahalla, we have to really trace back to other religious festivals. And the biggest religious festival, and I say religious quite loosely because at the moment, the way that the world is going, this festival really isn't quite as religious as it probably could and should have been. The biggest festival that has a link to a religion in the entire world is Christmas. And I can see the Sangha that are looking around saying, he's supposed to be talking about Hola Mahalla, what's he talking about? Christmas. We have to try and put things into context. Christmas is the biggest festival that is celebrated around the world. I don't think, and I've not done the research, but I don't think there is a country in the world that has not or that does not currently celebrate Christmas. Maybe someone can do that research and find out more, but I haven't done that, but I'm just having a guess. From my own experience, from the people that I've spoken to, I don't think there is a country in this world that doesn't celebrate Christmas. But where does Christmas come from? Because everything has an origin, everything has a start, everything has a beginning. And I dare say that there will be people within our own community. There may even be people here sat in Huddersfield today. There are Gursikhs that I know of personally, Amritaris, that will also celebrate Christmas. They will celebrate Christmas, but they don't understand the importance of, let's say, Vaisakhi. They don't understand the importance of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab. They don't understand the importance of Hola Mahalla. But yet we're happy to join the bandwagon and celebrate a festival that has no importance in our lives whatsoever, has no spiritual benefit for a Gursikh. When we look at the origins of Christmas, the Christian church, and I don't mean to sort of discredit any culture or any faith or any religion, that's not what I'm here to do, but we need to put things into context. The Christian church would have us believe that the reason why we celebrate Christmas, which we look at the word Christmas, we break it in half, we have Christ's Mass. Now Mass is a congregation of people in celebration of Christ, Jesus. The Christian church will have us believe that Christmas is in celebration of the day that Jesus came to this earth. But unfortunately that's not true. And even if you were to ask devout Christians, they would say the same, that actually Jesus didn't really come to earth, wasn't actually born on December 25th. He was born sometime in September. So why do we celebrate? Why do Christians celebrate? Why does the world celebrate Christmas? How did Christmas come about? If it's not a Christian festival, if it's not a Christian celebration, it has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus, then why do they celebrate? When the Christian church in Rome tried to expand itself, tried to get people to convert to Christianity, the people that were running Rome at that time were the pagans. And they went to the pagans, the Christian church went to the pagans and said, become Christians, join with us, become Christians, become one of us. And they said, to be honest, that's fine, we're not too fussed really, but there are one or two things that we need to keep hold of. Certain traditions that we follow, we practice and we like. And we don't want to lose them. And the Christian church says, will you join us, you be a part of the Christian faith, and whatever sort of rita, whatever traditions you have, we'll try to incorporate them into our faith as well. December 25th was the day that the pagan sort of police, if you say, had Shukti, day off. There was an amnesty. The police said, we're having a Shukti, we're having a day off, whatever you want to do, just happen. And people would go into the streets, they would rob, they would loot, they would do whatever they want on this day. And the pagan says, we want to hold on to this day. The Christian says to the Tiga, what we'll do is we'll say that it's Jesus' birthday. I said it would be a long, winding journey, and I will get to the point. Just bear with me. So the Christians decided that they will take on this pagan tradition. And they said, what else is there that happens on the 25th of December? What else do you do? Well, we bring a tree into our home. We put up a tree. Why do you do that? Because we worship trees. That's what we do. That's part of our tradition. Our culture is that we worship trees. So have a think to yourselves. Around Christmas time, if we have brought a tree into our homes, whether it's real or fake, under the guise of Christmas, as Gursikhs, do we really think that's appropriate? Is that something that as Gursikhs we should be doing? If we follow Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, who teaches us that we should not bow down to any other god, that we should not bow down to any other being, that we should not follow any other practice or rituals, then why are we doing these kinds of things as well? And we might say, but it's just a bit of fun, it's for the kids, let them enjoy it. But Sarsinghaji, if we really truly look at the time of Christmas, on the 25th of December, if we really want to give something for our children, we really want them to flourish and do well in this world, then should we be putting up a Christmas tree in our homes which marks a pagan tradition where they celebrate and they worship trees? Or should we be hosting Nishan Sahibs in our houses in celebration of the Shaheediyan of our brothers, Baba Ajit Singh Ji, Baba Jujhar Singh Ji, Baba Joravar Singh Ji, and Baba Fateh Singh Ji? Because at the same time that the world is celebrating Christmas, at the same time the Khalsa Panth is recognizing the Shaheediyan of our forefathers. And if we want to give gifts, and this idea of giving gifts at Christmas time, but it's all good and well, our friends buy us gifts, so it's only nice to return those gifts. Where does the tradition of gifts come from? The pagans, the kings who were in charge of all the pagans and were running Rome at that time, the kings made it compulsory that if you were poor and if you were homeless, in order to save your life, you had to give a gift to the king. You had to present him with a gift. You gave him a gift, then your life would be spared. You didn't give a gift, then you would be killed. If we give gifts and we follow this tradition, we follow this practice, are we no better than the people who imposed these forms of slavery hundreds of thousands of years ago? I want us to think about these kinds of things. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, Jab lag Khalsa Rehniya, that the Khalsa will always remain unique, that the Khalsa will always be identifiable, that the Khalsa will always stand out in a crowd. That's why Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj blessed us with the 5Ks. That's why Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us the star to tie upon our heads every single day, our crown that sits high above everybody else. There's a reason why Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us this crown. There's a reason why Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj blessed us with the ability to keep our gaze, so that we will stand out in a crowd, that we will be recognizable, that we will not follow the crowd, because we are lions, we are not sheep. A sheep will go whichever way the farmer tells it to go. If one sheep goes, the rest of them follow. But the moment a lion stands up and decides for itself, enough is enough, the whole pride may go one way, but that one lion will go whichever way he knows is right. We are those lions ourselves. But at the moment, unfortunately, we are becoming sheep because we don't know, we don't understand. Have we ever asked these questions? Have we ever thought about these questions? Of where does Christmas come from? Why do we celebrate these festivals, all these cultures, all these traditions? And if we say it's all a bit of fun and it's all a nice time of year, absolutely it is a nice time of year. Don't get me wrong, it is a time of year when we can spend it with family and friends. But there are certain things that the katha will do and there are certain things that the katha won't do. That as long as the katha remains unique, as long as we remain steadfast in our beliefs, as long as we stand by Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, then Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, God, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj will also stand by us. But what does Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj say after that? Jab eh gehe bipran ki reed, that the moment that the Khalsa starts to follow bipran ki reed, Vamana di reed, the moment that the Khalsa starts to follow the Ritya of other faiths, of other traditions, at that moment in time, जब लग खासा रह नहीं आ रहा तब लग तेज लियो मैं सारा जब इनके विप्रम की रीत मैं ना करो इनकी प्रति. I cannot stand by them no longer. That the moment that the Khalsa decides to stand on the other side of the fence, the moment the Khalsa decides that I no longer want to stand by my Guru, but in fact I would rather stand by Jesus, I would rather stand by Muhammad, I would rather stand by Ram, I would rather stand by Moses. That moment Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, you've chosen your path. If that's who you wish to stand by, that's fine. But I have to stand here. Who do we want to stand by? Do we want to stand by faiths? Do we want to stand by traditions that have no spiritual or physical benefit for a Gursikh? Or do we want to stand by the faiths and the traditions that Guru Maharaj themselves have blessed us with? If we look at Hola Mahalla, we have to take it back to Holi, which is a Hindu festival. And Holi itself came about and is referenced in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Holi itself came about when a king called Harnakish decided that he wanted to be the biggest king in the world and wanted to live forever. So he did a lot of bhakti, he did a lot of kamai, and he got to the point where he actually was able to converse with Brahma. And he said to Brahma, there are certain things that I want to be able to do or have in my control. And in the back of his mind, what he wanted to do was he wanted to remain immortal. He wanted to be a god. But we all know that there is only one god, who is Waheguru. But he wanted those qualities. So he said to Brahma, all I want, this is all I want, is that no one, no human being or no animal can kill me. I cannot be killed at day or at night. I cannot be killed with a shastra or an astra. A shastra is something that we hold in our hands like a deg or talwar. An astra is a weapon that we can throw like a chakra or a tir. So Harnakish says, I don't want to be able to be killed by a shastra or an astra. I don't want to be able to be killed by a human or an animal. And it can't be at day or at night. I don't want to be able to, I want to be able to live so that I cannot be killed inside or outside. And I cannot be killed on land or in air. These 5 things Harnakish devised in his mind, and he thought, if I can control these things, then there's no way that I'll be able to be killed. There's no way that I'll be able to die. I'll be able to live forever. And if I live forever, that means people will start to worship me. And he became so hankari because Brahma said, that's fine, you can have these things. And he blessed him with these things. And Harnakish then returned to earth and started to live in his kingdom and impose this law that everyone in the world or everyone in his kingdom should focus on Harnakish. And instead of saying Waheguru, 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 they should say Harnakish, Harnakish, Harnakish. He became so hungry that all of his kingdom, all the people in his kingdom would worship him. And he was then blessed with a son. And God who knew that he needed to teach Harnakish a lesson, so he sent Bhagat Prahlad into the house of Harnakish. And these are not just fairy tales, Altamaji. These are not just myths and legends that we might think had just happened thousands and thousands of years ago that bear no relevance. Because twice a day in the Guru Ghar, twice a day at Siddh Darbar Sahib, we mention Bhagat Prahlad ji. And we mention the importance of Bhagat Prahlad ji. And how the God of Vaheguru themselves came to save Bhagat Prahlad ji. Once in Asadiwad, the last chapter, and at the start of Sri Rama, we say, Har Jug Jug Bhakt Paya, Bhai Jaskirtath Aya Ram Raja. Har Nakas Dosta. That's the reference. Har Nakas Dosta Maria, Prahlad Taraya. The God of Vaheguru Maharaj themselves came to this earth to save Prahlad from the Dost of Har Nakas. So when a God Vaheguru sent Bhagat Prahlad to this earth, and as a 5 or 6 year old child, he went to school, and all of the school, and all of the village, and all of the people that were attending the school, even the teachers were teaching that Harnakish is the one true Lord. Harnakish is the one that we need to learn from. Harnakish is the one that we need to bow to. And Bhagat Prahlad remained quiet. And when the teacher asked Bhagat Prahlad, why are you not joining in? Why are you not reciting this? Why are you not writing Harnakish's name on your slate? Bhagat Prahlad looked and he remained quiet and he said, I don't believe that is a God of Vaheguru. I don't believe that Harnakish, my father, is the one true Lord. He had that himmat inside of him, that courage to stand by what is true. Stand by righteousness, not to follow the crowd like everybody else, not to be a sheep and follow and idly worship. But he knew that God was the only one true Lord. And he knew that he couldn't stand by and allow other people to follow the crowd aimlessly. And when his teacher took him away and spoke to Harnakish and said, this is what your son is saying. He's your son, you are the king, you are the one who is telling everybody to worship you, and not even your son is doing it. Harnakish got so angry that he decided that he needed to kill Bhagat Prahlad. And he devised so many plots and so many schemes of how to kill Bhagat Prahlad, and each time he tried, he failed. And then he came with one idea that he thought would work for all. And he said to his sister, Holika, and this is where the name of Holi comes from. He said to Holika, you have this ability to sit in fire and not be affected by it. If we think about certain properties that certain things have, some things will melt and will catch on fire and be inflammable, and certain things are non-flammable, fire resistant. And Holika had this ability where she was not able to be affected by fire. And so what Harnakish said, he said, you sit in a fire and have Prahlad on your lap. You won't be affected by the fire, but he will, and he will die. And we'll just say it was an accident. We'll just say that he came running and he wanted to sit with his buwa, and everything will be alright. And people will just think it was an accident. It wasn't anything sinister. And that's how we'll get away with it. She was reluctant to start with. She wasn't sure, but she eventually agreed. So she sat in his bonfire, she took Bhagat Prahlad, placed him on his knee, and at that moment in time, the 7-year-old Bhagat Prahlad attuned his mind to a God of Vaheguru, focused on a God of Vaheguru, did a bent to a God of Vaheguru, and said, God of Vaheguru, I will remain in your hukam, but if you can save me, please do. And at that moment in time, a God of Vaheguru came to this earth and they saved Bhagat Prahlad. And to teach teach Harnakish a lesson, they decided that they needed to finish him off completely. They needed to teach him such a lesson that he would realize, because he had gotten away with so many things, that it comes to a point where there's no more. And at that point, a god called Wahidu took on the form of Narsingha. And if we go back to the original things, the 5 things that Harnakish had asked for, a god called Wahidu took on the form of Narsingha. Narsingha, half man, half lion. Harnakish said, I don't want to be able to be killed by a human or an animal. Harnakish was half man, half lion. I don't want to be able to be killed at daytime or at nighttime. At dusk, at the point where the sun is starting to set, where it's not quite daytime, it's not quite nighttime, that is when Harnakish was killed. I don't want to be killed by a Shastra or an Astra. Narsingha killed Harnakish with his claws. Not a Shastra, not an Astra. I don't want to be able to be killed on land or in air. Nor do I want to be able to be killed inside or outside. So Narsingha took Harnakish, placed him on his knee, not on the land, not in the air. Took him to the doorway of his house, not inside, not outside. Ripped open his chest, and that was the end of Harnakish. If we look deeper into this story, we look at even how a god called Wahidu remains within Hukam. The Hukam that was given, that Harnakish would remain true to these 5 things. That he wouldn't be able to be killed inside or outside, that he wouldn't be able to be killed by a human or an animal, and so on and so on. A god called Wahidu themselves had to remain within that Hukam. And that's another teaching for us as Gursikhs, that we must remain within the Hukam. We must remain within Guru Sahib's command. Whatever Guru Sahib wants to happen to us, we should allow that to happen. It's a difficult thing to ask for, the ability to live within the Hukam. But once we start to live within Hukam, we'll realize that actually there's nothing that we can do, so there's nothing for us to worry about either. We'll leave it all in Guru Sahib's hands, and they will be the ones that sort everything out for us. Hindus from that day forth remembered this event of Bhagat Prahaladji and remembered Holika and decided to name this festival Holi. To remember that good will always triumph over evil, that there will always be truth. Guru Maharaj tells us that truth will always last forever. That falsehood will come to an end and only truth is the one that will prevail. So at that point onwards, the Hindus would light bonfires and would celebrate the triumph of evil. Years later, Krishna was due to get married. And it was at the time of Holi. And Krishna, if we ever look at the pictures of Krishna, Krishna is the blue god. He's blue. And Krishna was due to marry a girl called Radha. And Radha was supposed to be a very beautiful girl. She was very fair-skinned, and she had really long hair and everything that you would imagine. But Krishna was scared, because he says, I'm blue, and she's fair-skinned, she's beautiful. What if she doesn't want to marry me? What if people start looking at us and say that we're not well matched? What if people start to say things about us? People start to say that we're not supposed to be together and all these kinds of things. And he went to his mum and he said, what do I do? And his mum said, take some colour and throw it over her. So that's what he did. So he threw this colour over his wife, and she became coloured. And that's where the throwing of the colour comes from in Holi. I said it would be a long journey. We're getting there slowly, we're getting there. So where does Hola come from? In the Punjabi language, Holi is a feminine word and Hola is a masculine. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created Hola Mahalla. In 1699, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us such an ability, such a unique identity, that we would always remain unique till the very end. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj blessed us with Amrit Didar, blessed us with the Panchakar, blessed us with Ved, blessed us with a Maryada, a way of understanding, a way of taking steps towards the God of the Vaheguru, a way of taking steps towards Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And in 1699, the Guru Sikhs asked Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, he said, how do we celebrate Holi? Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj has already given us a way of celebrating Holi. In Rag Vasant, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj told the Guru Sikhs that Guru Arjan Dev Ji told us that on the day of Holi, Holi Ini Sant Se, Rag Vasant. Guru Maharaj tells us that on the day of Holi, if you want to celebrate Holi, then celebrate it by doing the seva of the sons of Mahaprabhus. And Sasangaji, which bigger son, which bigger Mahaprabhu is there than Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj? If we want to serve a saint, if we want to celebrate, then this is the way to do it. You sit with your Guru, you celebrate with your Guru, you serve your Guru, you serve the Satsanga. That's the way to celebrate Holi. But Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj said, we won't be celebrating Holi, we will be celebrating Hola. And in the year 1700, the year after Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created the Khalsa Panth, they completed an Akhand Path side, and then they sent the Singhs to travel from one Asthan, one Gurudwara side, to another, and they asked all the Panth to congregate at Anandapur side. Mohalla, Hola Mahalla, Halla market, to launch. And that's what it was. We've got this launch now, we're going to launch something, we're going to start something. What is it that we're going to start? When Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj got all the Khalsa Panths together, they congregated outside Hola side, in Anandapur side, and Guru Sahib split the Khalsa Panth into two, and he said, right, you are one team, you are another. And this is what the Khalsa does. The Khalsa doesn't throw colour at each other. The Khalsa gets drenched in colour. Which colour does the Khalsa get drenched into? Jako har rang lago is jug mein, so gahiyat hai surah. That if you want to be a warrior, then drench yourself in the name of God Vaheguru. If you want to be a warrior, then that's the colour that we drench ourselves in. If you want to throw colour, then be a warrior, but be a true warrior, because that true warrior will always stand for righteousness. After splitting the Khalsa Panth into two, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj set certain challenges and tactics to see how well the Khalsa Panth would engage in battle. And it was all about trying to prepare the Khalsa Panth for what was about to happen in the next few years. Because we know from 1700 onwards, the Khalsa Panth was under constant attack. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj used this as an excuse almost to bring the Khalsa Panth together, as an opportunity to test each other's skills. And still to this day, 300 or so years later, the Khalsa Panth still continues this tradition. The Khalsa Panth still remains true to the practice of Hola Mahalla. And particularly within the Nihang Singh Dal Panth, the Sampradaya, the Jathebandi, the group of Nihang Singhs, they pay particular sort of reference to Hola Mahalla. And it's quite widely said that within the Nihang Singhs that if you don't turn up to Hola Mahalla, then let's just say that you've passed on. That's the only way that a Nihang Singh would never not attend Hola Mahalla. Because that's how important it was. because Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created this festival for a reason. And we now need to think, in 2016, Hola Mahalla is coming up in a few days' time. This is almost like the time for us to launch something. What are we going to launch? What are we going to create? What are we going to do in our lives now at this moment in time? We've just celebrated Jade, the Sikh New Year. Now would be a perfect time to create a New Year's resolution. And that's what Hola Mahalla is about. Creating and having a New Year's resolution and saying from this day forward, this is what I want to launch. This is the way that I want my life to go from this year forward. Everything that I've done in the past is done. I've got from now to Vasakhi. And at Vasakhi, if Guru Sahib gives us Girpa, I will be able to join the Khalsa. That's where we should be heading. Take it in small steps. There are certain questions that we all have within us. Why do we celebrate? Who are we celebrating? Who do we look towards? What do we want in our lives? The Sassamiti, only you yourselves can ask these questions, and only you yourselves can answer these questions. Whatever fire you've got burning inside of you, whatever questions you have inside your mind, place that at the feet of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Live within the hukam. Remember Bhagat Prahalad Ji, who remained within the hukam, who did a bene to account of Waheguru and said, Waheguru Sahib Ji, please, you are the only one that can save me. Where the whole dunya is doing one thing, the whole dunya is following Harnakish, the whole dunya is forgetting you, I will still remember you, I will still fall to your feet, I will still recognize you as being the only one at Guru Waheguru. So please, Guru Waheguru, you save me, because I know nobody else will have my back, I know nobody else will save me. Are we going to follow the traditions of other faiths? Or are we going to follow the traditions that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj has set out as being true? A tradition that not only focuses on our spirituality, but also on our physical presence as well. That not only gets us thinking about God, but Waheguru in the form of a Khanwad, but also gets us thinking about our physical strength in the form of Shastra, Vidya, and Katha. Guru Maharaj pays particular importance to Shastra, and we see in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji now, there's such beautiful Shastra that are placed before them. And sometimes people get a little bit confused and they say that by bowing down to the Shastra, by bowing down to weapons, we're doing idol worship. This is not idol worship. Because even in the Adar, before we even remember the Gurus, we remember the Shastra first. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj tells us, that all these different types of weapons, these are my master. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj tells us that these are my master. The Shastra are my master. Jithe Shastra Namam Namaskar Tamam, Jithe Astar Payan Namaskar Tayan. That wherever there is a Shastra, we should always bow down to. We should always do Namaskar of Shastra, and we should always do Namaskar of Astar. Regardless of whichever way you use a Shastra, whether it's something that you hold in your hand, or it's something that you launch or that you throw, we should always pay respect to those things, because that is what is true. Because the Khanda, the double-edged sword, is the one that gives life, and is also the one that takes life. When we take Amrit, we are blessed with Amrit from the double-edged sword. The Khanda is the Khanda that gives us that immortality, and mixed with the Bani from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and from Sri Dasam Granth Sahib Ji as well. Those five Baniya, those Panch Pyare who look into that Vajra, who stir that Amrit, who repeat that Bani with the Khanda, and then bless us with that Amrit, that is what gives us immortality. Amrit. Mrit means to die. We put an era in front of it, it means beyond death. We cannot die. Amrit. We are coming up to the time when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj blessed us with Amrit. And I'm not saying that we should all be running and lining up at the Amrit Sanchar. If we did, that would be absolutely amazing. But we all know where we are in our journey. We all know what things we need to do before we get to that stage. And I implore every single one of us here, myself included, because I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here and I'm just telling you how to live your lives without actually practicing it myself, because I don't practice it myself, so I'm teaching myself whilst I'm talking to you as well. And I hope that we can all together take just small steps towards Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj. And if you take one small step, I promise you and I guarantee that Guru Granth Sahib will take steps towards you as well. They will show themselves in your lives in a way that you will never have thought would be possible. They will give you certain opportunities to do seva. And I've seen it with myself. That you take one opportunity to do seva, and then all of a sudden you get more and more and more opportunities. And the more we do seva of God, the more we do seva of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the closer we get to them, physically and spiritually. And that's what Sikhi is about. Sikhi is about being physically and spiritually on the path. There's no point of just wearing a bana like myself and that's it, I've become a Guru Sikh. No. And at the same time, there's no point reading so many baniya but not having Amrit inside of us either. The two go together. For those brothers and sisters who believe that it's alright just to have love for Guru Sahib on the inside, Pyareo, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, did they not have love on their inside? Were they never pure on the inside? The Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj knelt and begged those by birth to bless them with Amrit as well. We're coming up to the end of the time. Hola Mahalla is a very important festival in our calendar. It marks the start of something new. It marks the start of a warrior tradition, a warrior race, and that's who we are. We can't get away from it. Kshatri ko bhuto, Brahman ko na. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, I'm the son of a warrior. I'm not the son of a Brahman. I'm not the son of a pacifist. I'm not the son of someone who doesn't get involved in war. No, I'm the son of a warrior. And that's who we are. We are sons and daughters of the King of Kings, sons and daughters of that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj that fought himself on the battlefield. Not like any other general who would send out the infantry and send out his soldiers but sit back and not get involved himself. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was Ape Guru Jella, the Guru and the Jella at the same time. The Guru who would do something himself and tell others to do it. I'll show you how to fight on the battlefield so that there's no excuses. No one can turn around and say that your Guru doesn't do anything himself, he just gets everybody else to do it for him. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was that Guru, that father, that before he sent his own sons out onto the battlefield, he stepped out himself. Before he sent somebody else's sons out onto the battlefield, he sent his own sons out onto the battlefield. So nobody can say that your Guru is the type of Guru who does everything for himself. No, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj did everything that he did for every single one of us sat here today. So when it comes to festivals in other traditions and other calendars, we need to be thinking, is this something that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj would want us to be celebrating? Is this something that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj would celebrate themselves? Or is this something that is Vipra Giri? I want us to try and remember that Pankti from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in Vitra Mukh. Jab laga khalsa reh niyara, tab laga tej diyo main sara, jab eh ke Vipra Giri, main na karo in ki pratyat. That the moment that the Khalsa strays from the path, the moment the Khalsa steps along and stands by a Vipra Giri, a Brahmana Diri, the tradition of another faith, the tradition of another ritual, then the Khalsa Pant, I cannot stand by the Khalsa Pant, I cannot stand by the Khalsa, that person, because that's not who I am, that's not who I believe. We've come to the end of time. If I've said anything which I will have done that has been incorrect or that has offended anybody, I apologize, that's not been my intention. I'd like us to join in Guru Sahib's Fateh. Bless me so that I can also follow and practice what I've been preaching. this is not about, like I said, this is not about me trying to tell you what to do. This is also me trying to implement these things into my life as well. Devo assist, Gajvat ke Balav, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji